Standard collection procedure. Day 53. Zorp monotoned into his recorder, his gelatinous purple form jiggling slightly as the ship's hover module navigated through Earth's atmosphere. Specimen gathering continues in what the natives call North America. Current target, wooded area outside settlement designated Millerville. Beside him, Glexnar adjusted the collection beam calibrations with his 4 spindly arms. Remind me why we're gathering Earth specimens again. Weren't we supposed to be on vacation on Rigel 7 this rotation? Because, Zorp sighed for what felt like the millionth time, Admiral Kroon specifically requested Earth specimens for the Galactic Zoo expansion, and we drew the short tentacle. He pressed his face against the view screen. Besides, Earth is classified as a primitive pre-contact world. Easy assignment. Get in, grab some harmless creatures, get out. Nobody even notices. Right. Glexnar nodded, 2 of his eye stalks focusing on the scanner while the other 3 watched a reality show on his personal device. Just seems like a lot of work when we could be lounging on methane beaches, that's all. The ship descended silently over a clearing in the woods. Nighttime on Earth was optimal for their collection activities. Less chance of being spotted by the indigenous population, whom the Galactic Council had determined were not yet ready for first contact. Though Zorp secretly suspected it was more about the Council being afraid of how weird humans were than any actual protocol. Target acquired, Glexnar announced, suddenly professional. Biosigns indicate small mammal, possibly one of those squirrel things. Perfect. The zoologist specifically requested rodents. Zorp rubbed his appendages together. Quick in and out, then we can hit the drive-thru at that Nebula diner you like. Glexnar activated the collection beam, bathing the forest floor below in a soft blue light. Initiating capture. Now, the beam intensified, then retracted, depositing their catch in the specimen hold with a soft thump. Did you get it? Zorp asked, not looking up from his datapad where he was already filling out the collection report. Yep, something small, definitely got something. Glexnar sounded pleased with himself. Want to check it out? It's bigger than the previous specimens. Zorp waved dismissively. Just tag it and bag it. We've got 17 more specimens to collect tonight. Aye boss. Glexnar floated down the corridor toward the specimen hold, whistling a popular Centaurian pop song through his breathing spiracles. Exactly 42 seconds later, Zorp's calm was shattered by a shriek that nearly blew out the ship's internal audio sensors. Zorp. Emergency. Code red. Code everything. We're doomed. Zorp dropped his datapad, his entire body paling from deep purple to a sickly lavender. He'd never heard Glexnar sound like that before. Not even during the incident with the Jovian slime beast that they'd both sworn never to talk about again. What? What is it? Zorp demanded, slithering rapidly toward the specimen hold. Glexnar met him halfway, all 5 eye stalks bulging in terror, arms flailing wildly. You have to see for yourself. Oh sweet cosmic rays, we're dead. We are so dead. With mounting dread, Zorp approached the specimen container. Inside, where he expected to see a small furry rodent, lay something much larger. Something wearing tiny blue pants and a red shirt with some kind of earth creature emblazoned on the front. Something with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a tuft of brown hair. A human child. A small one, but unmistakably human. Is that what I think it is? Zorp whispered, his voice barely audible. A human offspring, Glexnar confirmed, voice quavering. Male, I think, juvenile. Approximately 8 Earth revolutions old. The small human was curled up, apparently sleeping peacefully. A colorful device was clutched in its hands, occasional electronic beeps emanating from it. But, the scanner said it was a small mammal. Zorp protested. Technically humans are mammals, Glexnar pointed out, unhelpfully. Not helping. Zorp fought to control his panic. Did you have all 5 eyes on the scanner, or were you watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians again? Glexnar's skin flushed a guilty orange. I might have been slightly distracted, but the scanner should have given clearer readings. This isn't my fault. Not your fault. Not your fault. Zorp's voice rose to a pitch that threatened to crack the ship's viewing ports. You abducted a human child. Do you have any idea what their species does when their offspring are threatened? Have you paid any attention in xenobiology class? I may have snoozed through that section, Glexnar admitted. Zorp's entire body shuddered. Humans are classified as Deathworld apex predators, you nincompoop. They're the species that the Exoglox Empire specifically warned everyone to avoid. The species that the infamous warlord Draxus called too violent even for me. The only known sentient species that created weapons of mass destruction before achieving spaceflight. As if on cue, the small human stirred, yawned, and sat up, blinking sleepily at the 2 aliens. Cool, said the human child, with decidedly insufficient alarm at finding himself aboard an alien spacecraft. Are you guys like Pokemon? Do you evolve? Zorp and Glexnar exchanged panicked glances. We are so incredibly dead, Zorp whispered. The child stood up and pressed his face against the transparent containment wall. I'm Tommy, can I touch your eyeballs? Senior Officer Vila is going to flay us alive, Glexnar moaned. If the humans don't get to us first. As if summoned by the mere mention of her name, the ship's intercom crackled to life. Attention collection team. This is Senior Officer Vila. The ship's sensors are detecting anomalous biosigns in specimen hold 3. Report immediately. Tommy grinned, revealing tiny white teeth. Is this a spaceship? Awesome. Mom's gonna freak. Mom, Zorp repeated hollowly. The human maternal unit. He turned to Glexnar, his gelatinous form quivering with dread. Do you know what human mothers do to protect their young? No, neither do I, and I never wanted to find out. Zorp slumped against the wall. You idiot. You stole a human child. Now we all die. Senior Officer Vila did not flay them alive, but only because that would have required touching them. Instead, she hovered 3 feet above the deck, her crystalline form pulsating with colors that the ship's manual specifically listed under warning signs of imminent officer meltdown. Let me understand this correctly, she said, each word precise and razor-sharp. You were sent to collect non-sentient specimens, small harmless creatures, and somehow, her voice rose to a pitch that made the ship's lights flicker. Somehow you managed to abduct a human child. To be fair, Glexnar offered weakly. Humans are technically animals too. Zorp closed all 3 of his eye membranes, wishing he could dissolve into the floor, or better yet out the airlock. Do you have any concept? Vila continued, floating closer until her crystalline surface nearly touched Glexnar's eye stalks, of what humans are capable of. Their entire history is one long series of increasingly efficient ways to destroy things. I've heard stories, Zorp admitted, but I always thought they were exaggerated. You know, like the rumor that Arcturians have 17 digestive systems. They are exaggerated, Vila snapped. The reality is worse. She gestured toward a view screen, which flickered to life showing historical footage. Humans were splitting atoms while still burning fossil fuels. They created global communication networks just to share pictures of infant felines and argue with strangers. They explored their own moon using technology that had less computing power than a modern toaster. The screen showed humans in various historical periods, always fighting, building, destroying, creating. They survived ice ages with pointed sticks. They domesticated wolves. Wolves, because they thought they looked cuddly. They invented thousands of sports, almost all of which involve some form of ritualized combat. But they look so squishy, Glexnar protested. That's the trap. They are squishy, they break easily. But they don't care. Vila's colors shifted to alarming shades of red. They put themselves back together and keep coming. Their entertainment consists mainly of watching simulated versions of themselves being injured or killed. For fun. A small voice interrupted their panic. Excuse me, do you have any snacks? I'm hungry. All 3 aliens turned slowly to find Tommy standing in the doorway of the command deck. The specimen container was unlocked, he explained, apparently feeling the need to clarify how he'd escaped. Your ship is super cool. Does it go faster than light? My dad says nothing goes faster than light, but he also says Santa isn't real, and I found presents in their closet last year, so he's wrong about stuff sometimes. Vila made a sound like breaking glass. It escaped. I just opened the door, Tommy corrected. It wasn't hard. Your locks are like the child-proof ones on our medicine cabinet at home. Zorp approached cautiously. Small human, we apologize for the inconvenience. This was all a terrible misunderstanding. We'll return you to your collection point immediately. But I just got here, Tommy protested. And you didn't answer about snacks. Do you have pizza? Or those little cheese crackers shaped like fish? Or chocolate milk? The human offspring requires sustenance, Glexnar whispered urgently. Their young are constantly growing. They metabolize nutrients at an alarming rate. How do you suddenly know so much about humans? Zorp hissed. I might have panic researched while you were talking to Vila. Glexnar admitted. Tommy wandered over to the navigation console and began pressing buttons randomly. What does this do? Ooh, shiny. No. All 3 aliens shouted simultaneously, but too late. The ship lurched violently to one side as the artificial gravity recalibrated. For a brief nauseating moment, everything, aliens, furniture and one small human, floated in midair before crashing back to the deck. That was awesome, Tommy exclaimed, completely unfazed. Can we do it again? The council must be informed, Vila declared, pulling herself upright. This is a Class 1 diplomatic incident now, but they'll demote us to Nebula Waste Management. Glexnar whined. That's assuming the humans don't annihilate us first. Zorp pointed out grimly. You know what happened to the Zelbian explorers who accidentally took those human religious artifacts? All three aliens shuddered. Tommy, meanwhile, had discovered the food synthesizer. Whoa, is this like a microwave? Does it make hot pockets? What's a hot pocket? Glexnar whispered. I don't know, but it sounds terrifying, Zorp replied. Vila composed herself, her crystalline form settling into a more professional arrangement of facets. I'm contacting Admiral Kroon. You too. She glared at Zorp and Glexnar. Keep the human contained and happy until we receive instructions. Under no circumstances is it to be distressed, injured, or made aware that we're completely terrified of its species. Too late. Tommy called out cheerfully, having apparently heard every word despite being halfway inside the food synthesizer. But don't worry. I won't tell my mom you're scared of humans. She'd think that's silly. Vila's colors shifted to a pale, sickly yellow. Its maternal unit. Has it communicated with its maternal unit? I don't think so, Zorp said uncertainly, though its species does possess primitive communication technology. My phone doesn't work up here, Tommy confirmed, emerging from the food synthesizer with what appeared to be a gelatinous purple cube. No bars. Is this food? It looks like jello. Don't eat that. Glexnar yelped, snatching the cube away. That's concentrated waste biomass, Tommy said, but didn't seem particularly bothered. Do you guys poop jelly? Vila made a strangled sound and floated rapidly from the room. I'm going to set course back to the collection point, Zorp decided. The sooner we return the human offspring, the better our chances of survival. But we're supposed to finish collecting all the specimens first, Glexnar objected. Zorp stared at him in disbelief. Are you seriously suggesting we continue our mission with a human child aboard? Have your brain tentacles completely liquefied? I just meant, emergency transmission incoming, the ship's AI announced with alarming volume. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern face of Admiral Kroon, Supreme Commander of the Galactic Alliance Scientific Division. His massive horned head barely fit in the frame, and his expression suggested he was contemplating the most efficient way to have them all vaporized. This communication is classified Level Omega, Admiral Kroon rumbled. We've detected unauthorized human biosigns aboard research vessel GS-427. Explain yourselves immediately. Tommy poked his head into the frame. Hi. I'm Tommy. Are those horns real? They look super cool. Admiral Kroon's yellow eyes widened to the size of dinner plates. By the 7 moons of Xerxes, he whispered. You didn't just abduct any human. You abducted a juvenile. It was an accident, Glexnar wailed. We're returning it right away, Zorp added desperately. Admiral Kroon closed his eyes briefly, as if gathering the strength to deal with extraordinary incompetence. You fools. You absolute fools. The full might of human retribution will rain down upon us all. I think you guys are overreacting, Tommy offered helpfully. My mom gets mad when I'm late for dinner, but she doesn't usually rain down retribution. Except that one time I broke her favorite vase playing indoor baseball. Admiral Kroon leaned closer to the screen. Listen to me very carefully. Return the human offspring exactly where you found it. Make no contact with adult humans. Delete all records of this incident. And pray to whatever deities you believe in that we're not already too late. Too late for what? Glexnar asked nervously. The human species has been under covert observation for centuries, Admiral Kroon explained grimly. We've witnessed their wars, their tenacity, their inexplicable ability to form emotional bonds with literally anything. If they discover that one of their young has been taken, he shuddered visibly. The diplomatic implications alone could set interspecies relations back by millennia. I should probably mention, Tommy piped up, that my mom is kind of important. She works for the government doing something secret. She has a special phone and everything. All the aliens froze. What kind of government work? Zorp asked carefully. Tommy shrugged. Dunno, but sometimes men in black suits come to our house late at night, and once I saw her practicing shooting blindfolded. Admiral Kroon made a sound like a dying engine. May the cosmos have mercy on us all. Admiral Kroon's emergency transmission had caused quite a stir in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 217 species had gathered for what was supposed to be a routine budget meeting, primarily to argue over whether the annual interspecies karaoke competition was really worth 30% of their cultural exchange budget. Instead, they now faced what many were already calling the human situation. Order. I will have order, bellowed High Counselor Plex, pounding his ceremonial gravity hammer against the floor. The ancient Obelixian's skin had turned the deep orange of extreme agitation, which clashed horribly with his formal purple robes. One speaker at a time, or I'll have the chamber vented. The cacophony died down, though a nervous buzz of telepathic chatter continued among the psychically gifted delegations. Admiral Crone Plex continued, "Please repeat your report for those who were too busy panicking to hear it the first 17 times. Admiral Crone stepped forward, his massive form casting a shadow over the central holographic projector. Approximately 2 hours ago, a research vessel under my command accidentally abducted a human juvenile during routine specimen collection on Earth. Gasps and moans rippled through the assembly. 3 representatives from the Zelbian cluster simultaneously fainted. The gelatinous collective in the corner began rapidly dividing itself in distress. I've ordered the research team to return the juvenile immediately. Crone continued, but we must prepare for the worst. If the humans discover that one of their offspring was taken, they'll declare war, shrieked a representative from the Silicon Consciousness. They'll demand reparations, wailed a quantum ghost. They'll want to meet the rest of us, sobbed an energy being, this apparently being the most horrifying possibility of all. Counselor Plex raised his hammer again. Silence. The room quieted once more. Let's not catastrophize, Plex said, though his deepening orange hue suggested he was doing exactly that internally. Humans don't have interstellar travel capabilities. They're confined to their solar system. Officially, muttered a small gray-skinned delegate in the back row. What was that, Representative Zorb? Plex demanded. Representative Zorb squirmed uncomfortably, as all eyes turned to him. Well, there have been incidents. Unexplained technological leaps. Rumors that certain factions on Earth have reverse-engineered crashed scout ships. Those are unsubstantiated reports. Crone growled. Are they? Zorb challenged. What about the mysterious disappearance of the Zeta Reticulan survey team in 1947? What about the sudden advancement in human microprocessor technology in the 1970s? What about their fictional entertainment media that somehow depicts alien species with uncanny accuracy? Nervous murmurs spread through the chamber. Even if those conspiracy theories were true, Plex said firmly, no human has ever reached Galactic Council space, that we know of, Zorb added ominously. The holographic projector in the center of the room suddenly flickered, displaying an image that made every alien present recoil in horror. The small human child, Tommy, grinning widely while holding what appeared to be an improvised sandwich made from various alien food substances. Hello, is this thing on? Tommy's voice echoed through the chamber. Wow, there are a lot of you. Do you all live on this ship? Are any of you Jedis? Plex turned slowly to Crone. Why? He asked with dangerous calm. Is the human offspring addressing the Galactic Council? Crone's crest deflated in embarrassment. It appears the juvenile has accessed our communication system. I'm Tommy, the child announced cheerfully. Your spaceship is awesome. Zorp and Glexnar are giving me a tour. Well, they're trying to catch me while I'm exploring, which is basically the same thing. This is a breach of security of the highest order, hissed Representative Meeble of the Technocratic Union, their cybernetic implants blinking frantically. Calm down, robot person, Tommy said, squinting at the screen on his end. I just pressed the button that said Emergency Galactic Broadcast. It was big and red. Everyone knows you're supposed to press those. The juvenile shows typical human disregard for warnings and boundaries, noted the psychoanalytic delegation's spokesperson clinically. Where are the researchers who abducted you? Plex asked, attempting to sound gentle and non-threatening despite his mounting panic. Abducted is a strong word, Tommy replied, munching on his bizarre sandwich. More like accidentally beamed up. And they're right here, but they're having a nervous breakdown. The camera on the research vessel panned shakily to show Zorp huddled in a corner rocking back and forth, while Glexnar appeared to be stress-molting, shedding exoskeletal plates all over the deck. Vila was visible in the background, frantically trying to override the communication system. As you can see, Crone said with as much dignity as he could muster, the situation is under control. Nothing is under control. Plex exploded, his skin now approaching a dangerous crimson. Deploy the emergency human response fleet immediately. The EHR fleet hasn't been mobilized in over 3 centuries. Crone protested. Half the ships probably don't even fly anymore. I don't care if you have to push them through space manually. Plex thundered. Get them to Earth's orbit now. Tommy, still on screen, perked up. You guys have a whole fleet just for dealing with humans? That's so cool. Are they like star destroyers? Do they have laser cannons? The fleet is purely defensive, Crone assured him quickly. No laser cannons. Aw, Tommy looked disappointed. Admiral, Plex said through gritted teeth. End this transmission and return that human to Earth before its absence is noticed. Too late, Tommy announced cheerfully. My mom always knows where I am. She put a tracking chip in my favorite sneakers after I got lost at Disney World last year. The chamber went deathly silent. A tracking chip, Plex repeated faintly. Yep, she said it's because she loves me. But I think it's because she's super paranoid from her work stuff. Tommy took another bite of his sandwich. This tastes like peanut butter and anchovies. Weird but not bad. The human maternal unit can track its offspring's location, Zorb whispered in horror. Even in deep space. Is that unusual? Tommy asked, genuinely curious. Mom says all parents track their kids these days. My friend Jaden has an actual microchip between his shoulders. His dad works for the NSA. Plex's gravity hammer slipped from his grasp, clanging loudly on the chamber floor. They implant their own offspring with tracking devices. As a standard practice, his voice was hollow with disbelief. Sometimes, Tommy confirmed. Mostly they just use the phones. Oh, I bet that's why my phone doesn't work up here. No cell towers in space, duh. Counselor Plex turned to the assembly, all pretense of calm abandoned. Initiate General Protocol Omega. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Alarm klaxons began blaring throughout the Galactic Council headquarters. Emergency lighting bathed the chamber in ominous red. Representatives scrambled to their evacuation points as automated safety systems deployed. What's Protocol Omega? Tommy asked, eyes wide with excitement rather than fear. It's what we do, Crone explained grimly, when we're facing potential extinction. Tommy blinked. Because of me, I'm just a kid. Not because of you. Zorb clarified, having somehow maintained his composure. Because of what your species will do when they discover you're missing. As if on cue, a junior communications officer burst into the chamber, tentacles waving in alarm. Counselors, we're detecting a massive energy surge originating from Earth. Something is coming. Tommy grinned. That's probably my mom. Jessica Chen was having a typical Thursday until her wristwatch began vibrating with the distinctive pattern that meant one thing. Tommy's tracker had left Earth's atmosphere. She immediately abandoned her grocery cart, sprinted to her sensible-looking sedan, and pressed her palm against the dashboard. The car's exterior rippled, revealing its true form, a sleek, matte black vehicle with technology definitely not available at the local dealership. Emergency protocol activated, announced a calm AI voice. Maternal retrieval mission initiated. Give me Tommy's coordinates. Jessica ordered, her suburban mom demeanor falling away like a discarded coat. Her eyes now held the focused intensity of someone who did not in fact work as a pharmaceutical sales rep as her neighbors believed. The child is approximately 347,000 kilometers from Earth, moving at sublight speed, the AI reported. Trajectory suggests a Class 4 research vessel of Galactic Alliance design. Jessica swore under her breath. The Alliance. They're supposed to observe only. Contact General Hayes immediately. Within minutes, hidden facilities across Earth hummed to life. In the Nevada desert, a mountain silently opened. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, sleeping engines awakened. From a mundane-looking office building in Geneva, encrypted signals bounced off satellites that officially didn't exist. General Hayes appeared on Jessica's dashboard screen, his weathered face grim. Agent Chen. I assume this isn't a social call. They took Tommy, Jessica said flatly. Some idiots from the Alliance. Hayes closed his eyes briefly, absorbing the severity of the situation. Accidental, or intentional. Based on the energy signature, probably accidental. Research vessel. But if they harm one hair on his head, they won't. Hayes interrupted. They're probably terrified. We'll deploy the Jupiter Defense Fleet. How soon can you be ready? Jessica's car was already transforming around her, reconfiguring into something far more suited for extraterrestrial pursuit. I'm already gone. Across Earth, a select group of humans, those who knew the truth, mobilized with practiced efficiency. Humanity had been aware of alien life for decades, carefully concealing their knowledge while building defenses and establishing protocols. The public remained oblivious, but a shadow organization had quietly prepared for moments exactly like this. In orbit around Jupiter, disguised as routine maintenance stations, Earth's secret fleet waited. Ships constructed with reverse-engineered technology, piloted by men and women who had dedicated their lives to protecting humanity from the stars. Fleet Commander, General Hayes communicated. We have a code Crimson. Deploy all units. A human child has been taken. The commander's response was immediate. All ships launching, weapons primed but not armed. First contact protocols. Diplomatic approach first, Hayes ordered. But make it clear we can escalate if necessary. In her transformed vehicle, now a sleek interceptor rising through the atmosphere, Jessica reviewed the data on the aliens who had taken her son. Zorp and Glexnar, she muttered, reading their identification codes. You picked the wrong kid to abduct. Meanwhile, Tommy had managed to access the research vessel's external cameras. Mom's coming, he announced casually to his increasingly panicked alien captors. And it looks like she brought friends. On the view screen, Earth's secret fleet emerged from behind Jupiter, 27 ships of varying sizes, all bearing the discrete insignia of Earth's extraterrestrial defense force. Leading them was a smaller, faster vessel piloted by one extremely angry mother. Attention alien vessel, Jessica's voice boomed through the research ship's communication system. This is Agent Jessica Chen of Earth's Diplomatic Corps. You have my son. I want him back. Now. Admiral Kroon, still connected via transmission, went pale. They have a fleet. Hidden behind their fifth planet. His voice was barely audible. They've had interstellar capabilities all along. Zorp looked at Glexnar, who had molted so severely he was now half his previous size. Remember when our biggest worry was getting demoted to Nebula Waste Management? Good times, Glexnar whispered. Tommy waved excitedly at the view screen. Hi Mom, these aliens have been super nice to me. Can I keep them? The docking procedure between Jessica's interceptor and the alien research vessel was tense, to put it mildly. On one side, a human mother with access to weapons that technically violated 17 different galactic treaties. On the other, 3 aliens in various states of existential terror. Remember, Admiral Kroon advised via transmission, his massive face filling the view screen, maintain a non-threatening posture, speak softly, do not show teeth, do not make sudden movements, and for the love of all cosmic forces, do not mention the Roswell incident. What's the Roswell incident? Glexnar whispered to Zorp. I have no idea, but I'm not asking, Zorp replied, frantically tidying the command deck. Just smile and nod. Wait, no, don't smile, Kroon said. No teeth. I don't have teeth. I have mastication ridges. Then don't show those either. The airlock hissed open. Jessica Chen stepped aboard, dressed not in the combat gear they expected, but in what appeared to be casual Earth attire, jeans, a light jacket, and running shoes. This somehow made her even more terrifying. Mom, Tommy rushed forward, wrapping his arms around her waist. You have to see this ship. They have a food machine that makes purple jelly poop, and their bathroom is super weird, and Glexnar can detach his eye stalks to see around corners. Jessica hugged her son tightly, quickly checking him for injuries, before turning her attention to the aliens. Her expression was perfectly controlled, revealing nothing. Agent Chen, Vila began, floating forward as the designated spokesperson, her crystalline form deliberately dimmed to appear less threatening. On behalf of the Galactic Alliance, I extend our most sincere apologies for this regrettable incident. I assure you, the abduction of your offspring was entirely accidental. Accidental, Jessica repeated, her tone neutral but somehow containing the threat of interstellar war. Total mistake, Zorp jumped in nervously. Wrong specimen classification, scanner malfunction, won't happen again. Ever. Please don't annihilate our species. Jessica raised an eyebrow. And why would I want to do that? The aliens exchanged confused glances. Because, humans are vengeful and violent. Glexnar offered hesitantly. At least according to our cultural briefings. We're complicated, Jessica conceded, like any species. But right now, I'm just a mother who wants to ensure her son is safe and understand exactly what happened. Admiral Kroon, still watching via transmission, looked stunned. She's being reasonable. Mom, can I show you around the ship? Tommy tugged at her sleeve. They have this super cool AI that talks to me. I named her Betty. The ship's central operating system has accepted the designation Betty, confirmed a mechanical voice from overhead. This unit finds interaction with the small human oddly satisfying. Jessica smiled slightly. Made a friend, have you? Several, Tommy said proudly. Betty helped me make a sandwich, and Zorp showed me how to use the gravity controls by accident, but still cool. And Glexnar keeps molting when he gets nervous, but he taught me how his species plays tag with their eye stalks. That's nice, Jessica said, looking increasingly bemused. Vila drifted closer. Your offspring has been remarkably adaptable to the situation. Most juvenile specimens we've encountered from other species would have been significantly distressed. Tommy has always been special, Jessica said with maternal pride. and he's obsessed with space. This is probably a dream come true for him.
It is.
Tommy confirmed enthusiastically. Can we stay a little longer? Please. Absolutely not. Jessica and Vila said simultaneously. The Galactic Council is currently in full panic mode, Vila explained. Several member species are preparing for potential war. Others are considering mass evacuation to another galaxy. Because we took your child, Zorp added. And because your species terrifies us, Glexnar admitted. Jessica frowned. Terrifies you? Why? We haven't even achieved widespread interstellar travel yet. She paused. Officially. Exactly. Vila's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. You're not supposed to have a defense fleet hiding behind your fifth planet. You're not supposed to have tracking technology that works across deep space. You're supposed to be squabbling over fossil fuels and making social media videos of felines. We do that too, Jessica said dryly. The ship's communication system suddenly chimed. General Hayes appeared on screen beside Admiral Kroon, the two leaders positioned as equals. Agent Chen, status report. Hayes demanded. Tommy is safe. No harm done. Situation stable, Jessica replied crisply. The abduction appears genuinely accidental. Cultural misunderstanding at play. Hayes nodded, then addressed Admiral Kroon. I believe we have some explaining to do. On both sides. Kroon's massive horned head dipped in acknowledgement. Indeed. Though I'm curious how long your species has been aware of the Galactic Alliance. Since approximately 1947, Hayes replied. A little incident in New Mexico that your official records probably list as a weather balloon crash. Zorp gasped. The Roswell incident. We've been keeping tabs on your observation posts, Hayes continued. Intercepting transmissions. Learning. Preparing. For war, Kroon asked gravely. For contact, Hayes corrected. On our terms, when we were ready. We've had the technology for broader space travel for decades, but we've kept it limited to defense and observation. Mom, Tommy interrupted, tugging at Jessica's sleeve again. Can I tell them about the aliens in Area 51? Every alien on the ship froze. Tommy. Jessica sighed. What have I told you about classified information? That it's on a need-to-know basis. Tommy recited dutifully. But I think they need to know, since they're aliens too. Jessica pinched the bridge of her nose. We'll discuss operational security later. You have detained alien life forms, Admiral Kroon demanded, his voice rising. No more than you've abducted humans over the years, Hayes countered smoothly. Don't pretend those cattle mutilations and missing time reports were all hoaxes. Vila's crystalline form darkened with embarrassment. Those were unauthorized research initiatives, since discontinued. So Jessica said, crossing her arms. It seems we've been studying each other all along. While thinking the other didn't notice, Hayes added. Like two nervous teenagers at a school dance. Glexnar blurted out, then immediately retracted his eye stalks in embarrassment. Tommy looked between the adults, human and alien alike, and rolled his eyes dramatically. This is why kids should be in charge. We just ask each other if we wanted to be friends. For a moment everyone was silent. So Tommy continued, looking around expectantly. Do we want to be friends? 6 months after what official Galactic Alliance records called the Tommy incident, the first formal diplomatic meeting between humans and the Alliance was well underway. The location, a newly constructed space station orbiting Earth's moon, jointly built as a gesture of cooperation. I still can't believe this is happening, Zorp muttered, adjusting his formal diplomatic sash. We went from potential interstellar war to peace talks because we accidentally kidnapped a child. Not just any child, Glexnar reminded him. All 5 of his eye stalks polished to a shine for the occasion. The right child. In the center of the diplomatic chamber, Tommy sat cross-legged on the floor playing an elaborate game that involved both human and alien toys, apparently unconcerned with the historic proceedings around him. The exchange program proposal looks promising, Jessica was saying. Now officially introduced as Commander Chen of Earth's Extraterrestrial Relations Department. We're particularly interested in your sustainable energy technologies, and we're fascinated by your entertainment media. Admiral Kroon admitted. Your Netflix has been the subject of much scientific inquiry. Let me get this straight, General Hayes said, reviewing the documents before him. You've been observing us for centuries, terrified we might discover space travel, while secretly binge-watching our TV shows. The office is particularly popular in the Andromeda sector, Vila confirmed, her crystalline form glowing with slight embarrassment. We monitored your broadcasts initially as intelligence gathering, Kroon explained. But they proved addictive. Tommy looked up from his game. So you're all friends now because I got kidnapped. Cool. Accidentally collected, Zorp corrected. Automatically. And yes, Jessica ruffled her son's hair affectionately. Sometimes the best diplomatic incidents are the unplanned ones. High Counselor Plex, who had finally returned to his normal orange hue after months of stress-induced color fluctuations, cleared his throat. There is still the matter of the researchers responsible. Their punishment must be decided. Zorp and Glexnar exchanged terrified glances. About that, Jessica said, smiling for the first time. I have a suggestion. 2 weeks later, Zorp and Glexnar found themselves standing in front of Tommy's elementary school class for career day. And this, Tommy announced proudly to his wide-eyed classmates, is my alien friend Glexnar. He can pop his eyeballs out. Stocks, Glexnar corrected gently, demonstrating the ability to the delight and horror of 30 human children. There are official Earth ambassadors now, Tommy continued. They live in our basement. Mom says it's better than having them executed for almost causing interstellar war. Much better, Zorp agreed fervently. Miss Patel, the teacher, looked faint. Tommy, when I asked if you had anyone interesting for career day, I was expecting your mother, the pharmaceutical sales representative. Oh, she's here too. Tommy waved as Jessica entered the classroom. Commander Chen, extraterrestrial relations, she introduced herself, flashing credentials that definitely hadn't existed 6 months earlier. I'm here to officially welcome your class as the first participants in the Galactic Youth Ambassador program. The children erupted into excited chatter. You're letting children become ambassadors to aliens? Miss Patel asked weakly. It was Tommy's idea, Jessica explained. Children adapt more easily to new concepts. They ask simpler, better questions, and they're naturally curious without the prejudices adults develop. Plus, Tommy added, we don't freak out and molt when meeting new species. Glexnar shed an exoskeletal plate in embarrassment. Sorry, Tommy whispered. No offense. In the back of the classroom, the door opened silently as a final visitor arrived. The children gasped as Admiral Kroon ducked his enormous horned head to fit through the human-sized doorway. Greetings, young humans, Kroon rumbled. I bring news from the Galactic Council. He unrolled an ornate scroll. By unanimous vote, Earth has been granted probationary membership in the Galactic Alliance, with full privileges to be determined after a 50-year evaluation period. He paused, then added with unexpected humor. It's the fastest application process in galactic history. Usually it takes at least a millennium, but everyone was too scared to vote against it. Jessica stepped forward. Admiral Kroon has also agreed to establish a permanent embassy here on Earth. The location is being prepared now. Area 51. Tommy asked excitedly. That's still classified, Jessica replied smoothly. But I can tell you that several Alliance species have requested permission to send their children to Earth schools as part of our cultural exchange. Miss Patel looked around her classroom, trying to imagine alien children among her students. Will they all be compatible with human children? Most are fairly humanoid, Kroon assured her, though the methane breathers will need special accommodations. Back in their corner, Zorp leaned toward Glexnar. Remember when we thought stealing a human child meant we were all going to die, and instead we got promoted to ambassadors with our own apartment on Earth? Unlimited access to human snack foods, Glexnar replied, munching on Doritos with 2 of his appendages. Best mistake we ever made. Tommy, overhearing, grinned at them. You guys want to come to my birthday party next week? Mom says I can have a sleepover. Zorp and Glexnar exchanged looks of pure terror. With other human children? Zorp asked cautiously. Yep, 12 of my closest friends. That sounds. Glexnar searched for an appropriate word. Survivable. Tommy laughed and threw his arms around both aliens. You guys are hilarious. No wonder the Galactic Council was scared of us. You panic over everything. As the children crowded around them, asking to touch Glexnar's eye stalks and see if Zorp really was made of jelly, the 2 aliens realized something profound. The humans weren't terrifying because they were violent or unpredictable. They were terrifying because they weren't afraid. And somehow, that made them the perfect species to drag the cautious, protocol-obsessed Galactic Alliance into a new era of exploration and discovery. Even if it had started with the worst specimen collection error in galactic history.